Let's play the official theme music here, just for just kicks. All right, we got a live streaming edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum. Sherm Chester, along with Sam Bruno, and kind of an update of what we had happened since our last go around. Just kick around a few topics, like for instance, right now it looks like there will be some form of schoolboy sports in the fall. Now, what's the latest you've heard?
Yeah, well, I think we had talked earlier about the thing to do for schools. And as a former school employee, I think this is the way to go. And I think they're making the right decision. Get the students into the school for a week or 10 days. Get your routines down. Get your plans down. Get your protocols down. Mm-hmm. And then September 8th, they're going to be able to start practices. And they're going to be able to start games pretty much field hockey soccer on the 18th of September. So I had predicted that it was going to be a delay, and there is going to be a delay, and I think that's the way to go. First football game won't be until September 25th. You and I were joking the other day about the fact that we looked at the schedule that came out with a 9-game schedule, mm-hmm. and the game that's scheduled for September 25th is at Winnicott. So that would be a great opener if football does start on the 25th.
I think you and I, again, we've kicked it around not only in the regular show, but just between the two of us. And I've been saying it forever now, since it all came down back in March or whenever they closed the sporting season down for the kids. If they're going to do anything, they've got to keep it local and keep it simple. Right. I think you and I were talking the other day about how technically the only colleges right now that look like they'll be playing football are the military academies. And their plan is just to play each other. That's it.
6 games, home and away, back and forth.
It's a thing for pride and a cup, and that's it.
Right.
And, I think I would like, and there was a meeting last night, I just read on Yahoo, there was a meeting of the heads of all the big divisions. So there's some decision coming out within probably this week sometime, whether we're going to see big-time college football. I would like to see them play again, just rivals like Ohio State, Michigan, and Ohio State versus one of their somebody in their division close by. Not have to stretch across country.
I think right now it's 70-30. There will not be fall sports.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I think everybody is committed now to do the spring plan. And last time we talked with Mike Murphy over at UNH. I think they're working toward that plan. They're working mm-hmm. toward spring football, maybe playing 7 or 8 games in March, April, and May, and do it that way.
I agree. No, I think right now it's you hit it on the head. You got to get the kids back into school. That's been the goal. And I was sitting there the other night watching whatever, and I said to the wife, I said, why didn't they try opening up school in different zones and test it out? Divide the country into thirds.
Sure.
Pick a third, and probably the Midwest would be the one to go with, and say, okay, let's see if we can start schools up in August and gradually see how it affects everything, the whole bailiwick. And the college thing, I don't quite get that. I would, especially since a lot of those kids, and I know my niece is going from Indiana all the way down to Tampa, Florida for college. And I said to my sister, I said, why? Why can't you just sit at home and do it on her computer? I know it's not the same and whatever. And the hands-on thing is important, but this is a different year. This is a different situation or a different scenario. So that's another thing. I wish they kind of stood back a little bit and took a look at it and said, maybe we could do this just remote this year. Give them a break on the tuitions and whatever. Keep the kids on campus if they do live in the area. Sure, you could go to UNH if you live in this general area safely, and keep them under control. I mean, there seems to be a lack of. Everybody's just in a hurry to get something done, and I think that's where I'm really upset with this whole scenario from the get-go. Is that everybody wants something done now? Let's get a solution now. It isn't going to happen.
No.
And everybody's health is at risk. Yours, mine, little kids, and older folks, even older than we are. So, I hope we get a sports season. And I know we've seen baseball start, and I don't know.
What a mess that is.
It's a mess. It's a total mess. I played. Yeah.
I look, one of the things I always enjoyed doing was every morning looking at the box scores, opening up the newspaper and looking at the box scores. You look at those lineups of those teams, there's nobody there,
Well, not only that, but all the major stars, I mean, they're using any reason not to have to play.
Right.
I mean, Mookie Betts.
Especially the pitchers.
Yeah, pitchers. Yeah, this year I'm in the fantasy baseball, football, all that, and this year it's like, how many games can Philadelphia miss? How many games can St. Louis miss? I mean, it's a joke. I mean, they're never going to make these games up. The teams that are supposed to be playing, I don't know how they're going to adjust. Again, 60 games. They might as well said 6 games. That might have actually worked. Play your division. That's it. You win the division.
When I was working in the Futures League 3 or 4 years back, the plan was always 7-inning doubleheaders, and I enjoyed those. I think a 7-inning ball game is a nice. You can get it in 2 hours. I mean, It's nice. It's a good thing to do. I think baseball's learning a couple of things. One, they're learning about the runner on second base in extra innings. They love it. Managers love it.
Right.
Fans love it. I thought it was interesting yesterday in the Red Sox game that it went 10 innings, and they had the runner on second base and stuff like that. So I mean, 2 nights ago, and I think they're finding out some good things. I think they're finding out that the DH is going to work in both leagues. So I think that's not going to go away now. So there are some positives, I think, in with 15, 16 games in, so we're a quarter of the season done.
Right. I wish they had just kept it in their own division though, and because that's obviously how they were all set up anyway.
Right.
And then you could say, okay, the Red Sox play the Yankees, Baltimore, Toronto, Tampa, and anybody else I'm missing?
That's it.
Okay, so whoever wins that division, congratulations. Maybe they could have a playoff against another division that way. Just it's too much. It's too complicated, and all it takes is one guy to screw it up, as the Clippers found out when some guy went to well, let's put it this way. He went out for some ribs, and he went to
milk.
Well, supposedly. The story was this place had the best ribs around, I guess, or wings. No, it's chicken wings. Chicken wings. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what started the problems in the NBA. And luckily that was the only incident. But yeah, it's something that and another issue with all this sporting thing, all the testing that has to go on to keep these guys going. And then yet we've got people, you and I and the rest of the world, that are susceptible to this disease. And a lot of us are going, unless I have the symptoms, I don't want to get tested. We should be tested.
Right.
My son works for the government. He's in an important position. And I said, you get tested, right? Said, no. I said, you're kidding me. I said, and I asked a postal worker, and I was in that business for almost 30 years. Nope. They're unless they feel sick, they don't have to get tested. And I'm thinking, like, wait a minute. They're in contact with people every day. They touch everything, if that is the case.
Right.
Same thing in my son's position. He has 5 guys working with him. So if one of them goes down, 5 guys go down, even if they're not sick. And it just, but they're not getting tested. And I thought, why not? On the other hand, we're wasting a lot of tests on people that probably shouldn't be wasting time. They should be sitting at home counting their money. So that's my 2 cents. I'm sorry. But simple and slow. I think whatever they do for especially for the schoolboy stuff or high school sports, I'd like to see that Exeter win a kind of game, even if that was the only one of the season, and Exeter Dover, Exeter Portsmouth. I mean, I don't see why we have to travel, and the hot spots are obviously Manchester and the Nashua area, and over in Londonderry and Derry, that's a hot spot here in the state. So why should we put our kids in that position?
Yeah.
No.
We'll have to see what the protocols will be in the Exeter High School press box. See if we can socially distance 6 feet.
I think one of us is going to be upstairs in the out in the cold. Actually, it might not be bad. You'd be in fresh air. You'd be up in and all the coaches are always up there anyway. Even in the rain,
just
snow.
Cord for the mic up top, and you can just go right up top.
Hey, give me a wireless mic. I can be anywhere. A couple of things I jotted down notes for myself today. About just topics to bring up. Did you hear Cam Newton's press conference the other day?
I did. I was very impressed. I thought he presented himself well. I thought he had the right a combination of swagger and modesty. Okay. And I think there's a certain way you act in the Patriot way, and I think he's going to embrace it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think the only thing he has to take and keep rein on is, I don't know if he's a FaceTimer or an Instagrammer or a Twitterer or one of those. I know Belichick doesn't go for that stuff.
No,
that's what has been the undoing of a few players on the team, because once they hit Twitter, there's no taking it back, unfortunately. And
well, I mean, I'm trying to analyze all the players that opted out for the Patriots, such as Hightower and Chung and people like that.
mm-hmm.
Those are players who are on the back nine. I mean, they haven't got a lot of years left, and they may have been looking at retirement already. So they take a break here, take a year off, they get their $150,000, which is, for them, not much. But what it does for the Patriots is it opens up a lot of free agent cap space. So Belichick is going to be able to add a lot of free agents. Mm-hmm. And they have been pretty successful with going out and doing that and reclaiming these guys that maybe have a year or two left, mm-hmm. and putting together, he's the master of putting together a team. So, I'm saying to myself, gee, it's kind of bad that Tom Brady's gone, but aren't you really looking forward to watching Cam Newton?
Now, I'll be interested to see if the season gets going, which is still a question there. I mean, they're working out the details and the protocols, like you say. And I don't see why they have to play a 16-game season. I really don't. I like to see them play just a shortened season.
Well, I don't think it is going to be a 16-game season, because without any preseason, the first 4 games are going to be preseason.
Yeah, true. Good point. Yeah, to me, you get to it, play your division. And I guess in their case, they could play 1 game out of league or whatever, out of division or something, just to kind of, spice it up. But this year, you got to throw all that balanced scheduled business out. Same thing with, again, college football. If they get it going, I don't see it happening. But there again, if they use the model that the military academies are doing.
How about in I had jotted down to ask you a question about your opinion on crowd noise on baseball games.
For baseball on radio, it's okay. And watching it on TV, it's kind of like, and that's another thing I'm kind of like waffling on. I don't like the cardboard cutouts at all. I mean, if they were going to do that, I was going to send Dave O'Brien a text the other day and say, I know they got the ones up in the Green Monster, and that's tied into a promotion for the Jimmy Fund, the Red Sox Foundation. That's a kind of cool idea. And I thought, well, if they want to go that route and put cardboard cutouts, you pay $50 or $100 or whatever, depending upon where they put it in the stands. And, you have your face in the stands for the season. That'd be kind of cool. And it's for the Jimmy Fund.
Right.
But overall, it's they're doing a great job for sitting in a booth.
Well, yeah,
a mile and a half away.
I always enjoy it when there's a foul back toward the booth and Dave O'Brien says, "Duck, Jerry."
Yeah, they're doing the best they can under the circumstances.
Have to do a home run call on TV too.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if they have a monitor that's a shot of the whole field.
That's what I saw. They showed behind one of them. I think it was the Rim Dog. They've got the multiple camera shot. I think actually it was on O'Brien's monitor. He's got the multiple. So camera shots.
They got split screen.
Yeah, so he can see little blurbs of every camera that's out there, so that he could see something going off the bat and out to left field or whatever, and or a foul ball. That's the other thing. Foul balls. At least if you're there sitting and you see it coming back, you say, I'm back behind the bench or whatever. And it doesn't. It'd be like, how do you know where it's going?
A lot of it's made up. You just made up. We don't see it. You just call like you know it. You just sound confident.
They said that Johnny Most, when he was doing Celtics games back years ago, most of the time half that action wasn't going on the court. He was making it all up as he went. he was lighting up a cigarette and forgetting, or having a cup of coffee and forgetting how.
That was the beauty about doing radio for so many years. Is that before cable TV and local origination came on board?
Yeah,
people didn't know it. You just made it sound like it was. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, theater of the mind. It's you're in charge on radio, and TV it's a little different animal. One thing about Dave O'Brien, I wanted to interject that yesterday he mentioned that it was his 34th wedding anniversary to his Lady Debbie. So congratulations, Mr. O'Brien. He's a good guy. I like both of them a lot. So happy for 34th. And then they were going on about Tom Caron, 35 years as a announcer with Nesson,
Yeah.
and Eckersley and Remdog were going on and on about what they used to get for anniversary gifts from Nesson. And I guess Remdog got a car when he was there for 30 years. Yeah. And somebody brought up a Rolex, and I was going to text Dave and say, hey, it sounds like Eck and Remdog want to chip in and buy a TC a Rolex. I'd take them up on that in a heartbeat. You know, they both got it, so why not? The other thing I had on my little list of notes here today, Cam Newton. Oh, I wanted to ask you a quickie about how does this pandemic affect the sports betting here in the state, because now there's such a lack of games to bet on. How?
I mean, in April and May, certainly the state lost a lot of the revenue that they thought they were going to get from DraftKings that runs the sports betting here in New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. But in June, but here in the middle of July, there was a lot of UFC betting, and there was also a lot of some auto racing betting. Mm-hmm. And in August, now everything, I mean, there's 7-8 hockey games, 7-8 basketball games every day, full slate of baseball games every day. So things are starting to pick up. And again, it's going to show that mobile sports betting, I think, is going to be successful. So when they give out the revenue projections for August and September, I think they're going to be pretty good. So I think people are betting.
The reason I brought it up was that during the ball game the other day, they have during the 8th inning, they have a raffle for the Red Sox. Have a raffle for 50-50 drawing is what it is, right. And it's through DraftKings. And I thought, they're even into that. They're even tied into that. So it's a little bit more difficult, I would think. Well, maybe not, since everything is in a bubble.
What's difficult right now, especially in sports betting, is that in the NBA and NHL, there's no home team advantage anymore.
Oh, good point.
Playing in the bubbles. I mean, you can look at the NBA, and it's almost 50-50 right now of home team, visiting team, winning and losing, okay? I thought it's interesting in the Orlando bubble that they do for the home team, they show up all the home team graphics when you're the home team. And they put the symbols on the floor and everything, but it's not making any difference. It used to be such a home team advantage in the NBA, but that's gone now. The NHL, not as much, but I think that's probably the biggest factor right now in making the decision. The other thing that's happening right now in baseball is that you used to handicap baseball games based on pitching, starting pitching, and bullpens. Mm-hmm. And right now, a lot of teams with the pitching shortage are going to openers instead of starting pitchers, so that right now they're not even listing starting pitching anymore because they don't know who's going to start the game.
Right.
The other thing is, in the second half of the season, you used to be able to look at bullpen records, and teams with the bad bullpens would probably be losing. But in a 60-game season, your relievers are going all out right now. They're not holding anything back. Mm-hmm. So they're really firing right now. So it's tough in the sports betting world right now because you've lost a lot of your advantages that you used to have. You
mean those cardboard cutouts and that phony noise doesn't help out?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Not at all. And then you're wearing the mask all the time in the dugouts and stuff like that. I mean, it's just let's just get it over with.
It was funny.
I'm just going to tell you about the best cardboard cutout I've seen. Watching the Giants at the Dodgers the other day because I wanted to see how Mookie Betts was doing. And right behind home plate is a giant head of Mary Hart.
I saw that. Yeah.
I was looking for Larry King's cutout, but it wasn't there.
Yeah, I know.
Mary Hart was right there.
Mary Hart. They should have her legs dangling over the railing there. Yeah, no, it's funny. You're right. I saw that, and I was thinking of Larry King, the same thing. That doesn't do anything for me, the cardboard cutout thing, unless it was for charity. Then I could see it. I thought, okay, that would make sense. And the crowd noise, I don't think the players really care about it.
They don't.
Strictly for
and again, how can you figure out what's happening with Benintendi, Devers, and Martinez for the Red Sox. I mean, their work right now is just awful.
Yeah, Benintendi is the one I would think was almost writing his ticket out of town. You know, it's not happening.
I
so
mean, two for 34, and one was a bunt single.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, something's wrong.
Yeah, Benny is not responding well, and it could be interesting to see what happens there. I don't think any trades will be made this year because it's not really worth it. I mean, maybe on the off season, right after the season ends.
I guess there's a trading deadline on August 31st. I mean, you can make some moves after that.
I was surprised, and he must have something wrong. I was surprised the Sox didn't pick up Foltowitz from Atlanta because they put him on their waiver list. You know,
right.
Which maybe he is damaged goods, but at this point, the Red Sox need all the pitching help they can. I mean, it's Eovaldi, and that's it.
Right.
You know, I mean, nobody else is really stepping up to the job. Like you say, it's kind of by committee, and that's disaster.
And then I don't know if you saw yesterday's Red Sox game, which Moreland won with that home run. But there was that stretch in there where there was 11 straight strikeouts.
Yeah.
11 strikeouts in a row. And, you know, my wife asked me, 11 straight strikeouts, what's going on? And I said, well, it's quite simple. You're going to get paid. Who gets more money? A guy who hits 20 home runs or a guy who bats 300? It's going to be the guy who bats 20 home runs.
Right.
So when you've got limited at bats this season, you're swinging for the fences on every pitch.
Right.
And if you strike out, you strike out. But boy, if I hit a home run, that's going to make me some money next year.
I feel good for Mitch Moreland. I mean, all of a sudden he's he's got this groove on and he's smacking them out. I mean, that's
he's playing for a contract right now. I mean, it's good for him at his age right now. I mean,
and I hope they give Verdugo more time. I mean, they're platooning him with Pilar, and I think just put him out there, get him as many at bats as you can, because that's your Mookie piece.
Yep, he's the future. He's the future. So I mean, he's got to be out there.
I got to give him credit too. He spoke up the other day. I guess they were trying to compare him to Mookie, and he said, "I'm not Mookie. I'm me. And I'm going to be me. I'm not going to be Mookie, and don't try to compare me." And more power to him. But
he's got the nice 99 jewelry, wearing that. I mean, styling. He's a California guy.
All right. Well, I think I've got my list. Is there anything on your list for like a 2-minute drill thing?
Once they pull the plug on college football, I mean, that's really going to be that's going to be a big deal. I think that's going to be a big deal, and not only financially for the schools, but for just the people who run the businesses around the stadiums and the towns and stuff like that. I mean, it's going to be awful. I mean, it's going to be economically difficult for everybody.
It's caution. I mean, they got it. It goes back to what we were saying at the very beginning. It's caution. I mean, if you want to do it little steps, a few games, and test and see how it goes, that's one thing. But to just have a whole season and say, okay, it's all season or bust, and it probably will be a bust. Like the baseball is finding right now, they're just not.
Well, I mean, Trevor Lawrence said the other day that players would be safer in a college football bubble than at home running around right now. Okay?
Could be the case.
And I mean, if we're finding that the NBA and NHL bubbles are working, then the bubble approach will work. No fans in the stands, show the games on TV, keep everybody quarantined in your dorm. Now, putting 19 and 20-year-old young men quarantined in a dorm for 3 months.
Well, I'll be going out for wings. Oh, man. Hey, one thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if do you have Showtime?
I do.
You do. You want to check out, it's a 5-part series called Outcry.
Okay.
And I won't spoil it for you, but it has a sports element and also deals in with the criminal justice system. And it's kind of, it probably could have been shortened to 3 episodes, but it's worth the 5 hours. It's not one you'll sit there and watch for like a 5-hour marathon, but take it in little dribs. It's very interesting about a college athlete who had some bad things happen, some charges brought on him. He spent, I think, 5 years in prison. And finally, well, I won't spoil it, but justice was served. Let's put it that way. And you'll find, if you watch It's Outcry on Showtime. And the other thing, have you caught the new Perry Mason on HBO?
No, I didn't. I did see that they showed the first episode for free.
Yeah.
And I watched that, and I was interested in it. So I'm waiting for the next. Now that the series is over for the first season, I'm hoping that HBO has a free preview, and then I can catch it up in there. So don't tell me anything about it.
I won't say a thing other than I love Matthew. I think it's Rice or Reese. Rice. And he's a great actor. He was great in The Americans, and he does a great job as Perry Mason. However, if anybody's looking for the old,
Hamilton
Stanley
Burger,
Gardner, well, he's in it. I won't spoil it.
Okay.
But the whole premise is it's back in the 30s.
Yeah.
And it's darker and more violent. And it isn't Raymond Burr as Perry Mason. It's
too bad.
It's really, it develops. It takes 6 episodes before Perry really gets his
that's enough
mojo going. Well, it's 8 episodes. It's worth it. But it's look, there again, I wish it was like 4. 4 would have done me fine. Even 3. They get these things going a little too long, and it's like, how many episodes can we go on this thing? But try Outcry and try Perry Mason. That has nothing to do with sports, but Outcry does. One thing, I'm not going to play our theme music out today. What I wanted to play was, I had to make a call this morning, and I got put on hold. I'm trying to get hopefully some answers about a rebate I'm supposed to get from the state. This is the obnoxious music they put on hold so that you'll hopefully hang up. Did I record it? Oh, please say I recorded this. This is some of the worst music I've ever heard in my life. Come on, where is it? Oh, figures it wouldn't play. I'm having issues with my phone all of a sudden.
Was it like bad jazz?
It's just one of those repetitive things that after a while you want to just beat yourself in the head with the phone, and they definitely want you to give up. And I held on for 20 minutes, and I wish I could play it for you, but it's not cooperating. Well, sir, we'll check back with you soon, and we'll do another edition of the Seacoast Sports Forum. Try to get the coach on with us. Bob Glowacki has got some method of getting all 3 of us on board visually. So we'll count on that, and we'll do that soon. And we'll hopefully hear some good news from, the NHIA has said the sports can go. We'll see how the schools are going to do it. And then the NCAA, that'll be coming out this week too.
I didn't know that.
So you behave yourself. Until next time, Sherm for Sam and the Seacoast Sports Forum. Join us again next time.